Hey guys, what's up? Today I have a special kind of haircut that I'm going to show you. It is a mullet. They are coming back in style and I'm going to show you how I do mine. Hope you guys like it. The fun thing about mullets is that there's not one way to do them. For example, for his hair, he likes a number 4 on top and we're still growing out the back. So I immediately thought to just do a burst fade. And that's what I'm doing. I created my guideline from the back of the ear to the temple. Just like I made my guideline in a round shape, that's the same shape that I'm going to fade from. So right now I'm using my magic clips. They're pretty beat up. I've had them probably over 5 years. I just keep changing the blade. Like, it doesn't even have the name on there. That's how long I've used them. But honestly, they're hitters. I've gotten a lot of new clippers since then. But that just goes to show that you don't have to always get the newest hype clipper. I've done that a lot, and a lot of times they disappoint. So don't feel pressured into buying like the coolest, most expensive set of clippers. My magic clips are, I would say, my best blending clippers. So if you have your good old trusties, just use those. If cutting hair is something that scares you and you're challenging yourself to do it, then that is a good sign already, because anytime that you step into anything that is uncomfortable, it's just for your own growth. There was a time in my life that I felt a extreme need to move out of my hometown, and I didn't know exactly what my plan was, but I just knew in my heart that I had to move out and far away. I was literally so afraid of this random new idea that had popped into my head, and it just wouldn't allow me to rest. It was constantly there in the back of my mind, and I felt unfulfilled in my current life situation. And I actually lived a really good life. I was at my parents' house. They were both well off, hard workers. They're great to me. I had a queen size bed in a big ass room. I had no bills. I never even had to ask for a job before, because it was literally handed to me from my family's barbershop business. But my work ethic was like always 100. I always came in early. I always stayed late. So nobody could really talk shit about that. But I just hated the, oh, you're the owner's daughter. Oh, they bought you a brand new car, which no, they didn't. I always paid for my car. I mean, of course, it was my only bill, but give me some credit. I paid for that car. My parents even paid for my gas, for crying out loud. There was a moment where I was like, guys, I can handle this. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. But like, one day I'm going to have to do it on my own, and I want to figure it out now. I just felt like I had a lot of lessons to learn, and I wouldn't be able to do it here at home. So I decided to move like 300 miles away, all by myself, in a brand new city where I didn't know anybody but a friend who I stayed with at the time. You'd probably think I was crazy, but I literally traded a master bedroom with a queen size bed for a rinky-dink studio apartment with me and my friend. I literally walked in and that was the entire place. The layout was a kitchen and just a space where I put a futon and she had like a twin size bed. Oh yeah, so pretty much I had moved to Los Angeles, North Hollywood in the San Fernando Valley, and that first night it was so hard to sleep because all I heard was traffic and the police helicopters. So the next morning I was so excited because I was gonna look for a barbershop. I was finally gonna ask for a job and do the whole resume thing. So my friend had to work that day, but she had her brother come with me to go look at the surrounding barbershops. The first barbershop I walked into was totally not my vibe. There was older gentlemen. It was quiet. They had the news on. One of the guys was like reading a newspaper. And although they were very nice, I was just like, never mind, this is not where I want to work. The second barbershop I walked into, The energy was high. There was a lot of motion. There was a lot of laughter. There was 8 chairs and all of them were filled with busy barbers and happy clients. Right away, I was like, oh yeah, this is totally where I want to work at. So I asked for the manager and I'm literally like having to yell at him because it's blasting with music. And I'm like, are you guys hiring? And he was like, no, we're not. And I noticed that there was a chair, an empty chair in the very back. And I was like, oh, I noticed that there's an empty chair there. I was like, I have my clippers right here and I got this guy right here. What if I demonstrate a haircut for you guys? He just kind of shrugged his shoulders and was like, sure, go ahead. Like, I'm busy. Leave me alone, girl. So I finished the cut, and mind you, I had already been cutting in Fresno at my family's barbershop for 4 years, so I already knew like how to cut pretty good. So when I called him over to look at it, he just looked at me and said, all right, when do you want to start? I started immediately the day after that, and it was really hard to start my clientele from zero after being a booked back-to-back barber. Suddenly, I had rent, utilities, my expensive car payment, gas, and food. And I'm stressed because I don't really know how to do my laundry that well. I'm also a full-time student at Pasadena City College, and I'm trying to juggle work and school and like this whole adult new life that I wasn't used to. I took a while to visit back home just because I was really homesick and I was afraid that I would just stay there and give up. But eventually it was my brother's high school graduation and I had to come back home to visit. This was like 5 months after building myself a life in LA. I already had a steady clientele, so I was really excited about that. But being home was so good. My family was great. I stayed in my old room. My mom washed my sheets so good with her fabric softener, and her towels just are so warm and thick. Everything about being back home made me so sad. I was able to see a big difference in my perspective. I was now noticing how I was taking a lot of this stuff for granted, which is good because that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to develop a different lens, and that's exactly what I got from this experience. But now it was time to go back to LA, and I'm driving south on the 99 and I hear The Climb by Miley Cyrus, and it's just hitting me in my feels. The song is saying things like, there's always going to be another mountain, I'm always going to want to make it move, always going to be an uphill battle, sometimes I'm going to have to lose, ain't about how fast I get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side, it's the climb. So I'm literally bawling at this point. I'm passing Visalia and I'm like, you know what? I should just get off this exit and go back home. And I convinced myself like, no, you've already worked so hard to get this progression. So I keep battling myself and the song is just on repeat, and I get to Lancaster. I'm like, okay, make a U-turn now. Nope, I pass Lancaster. And eventually I'm back in my little studio, but I feel so rich in my soul because even though it was so scary, I came back and I'm trying to make a name for myself. I don't want to be the owner's daughter. I want to be a girl who can get it on her own and prove that to myself. And I'm not even kidding you, this experience really altered my life so much that whenever I listen to Miley Cyrus, The Climb, I cried. So after a year, I was already one of the top earning barbers at my barber location, and I felt really confident. I loved my life. I had everything under control. And at this point, my dad, he's a truck driver, so he had a load coming towards where I was at, and he asked me out to go to lunch with him, so we ended up going. I made reservations for lunch, and I even got the valet situated. And when I sat down with my dad and I was looking at him across from the table and our food was there, his even his gaze upon me was different. Like, he knew that I had developed into a different, more grown up person, because he just looked so happy and proud of me. And he said, wow, like, I can't believe you're over here calling for valet and making reservations. And he was like, I remember not too long ago you were afraid to ask for extra ketchup. Like, what the heck? He didn't say I'm so proud of you, because that's like not what Mexican parents do, but I knew he was. Dang, I never got back to the haircut. Well, I hope you guys like the final look, and I will be more conscious about describing to you guys what's going on and what I'm doing with the haircut. Talk to you guys very soon.